How many of you have ever heard the story how the Grinch stole Christmas? Yeah, do you guys like that story? Well, here's the deal. You guys are going to get to hear that story today, but we have a special storyteller coming up to do that for you guys, all right? His name is Mr. Jerry. So you guys welcome up Mr. Jerry to the stage. He's going to do this for you guys.
Y'all like getting books read to you at night? Have y'all had a book read to you without the person reading having the book? Yeah? They memorized it? Well, this is how you read a book with more power. Okay? Every who down in Whoville liked Christmas a lot, but the Grinch, who lived just north of Whoville, did not. The Grinch hated Christmas. The whole Christmas season. Please don't ask why. No one quite knows the reason. It could be perhaps that his shoes were too tight. It could be that his head wasn't screwed on just right. But I think that the most likely reason of all may have been that his heart was 2 sizes too small. But whatever the reason, his heart or his shoes, he stood there on Christmas Eve, hating the Who's, staring down from his cave with a sour, grinchy brow at the warm, lighted windows below in their town. For he knew every Who down at Whoville meeting was busy now hanging a holiday wreath. And they're hanging their stockings. He stalled with a sneer. Tomorrow is Christmas. It's practically here. And the Grinch growled with his Grinch fingers, nervously drumming. I must find some way to keep Christmas from coming. For tomorrow, I know all those Who girly boys will wait bright and early, the rush for their toys, then all the noise, 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 noise. That's one thing I hate, all the noise, 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 noise. Then those Who's, young and old, will sit down to a feast. And they'll feast, and they'll feast, and they'll feast, feast, feast. They'll feast on Who pudding and rare Who roast beef. Ah, roast beef is a feast I can't stand in the least. Then those Who's will do something I hate most of all. Every Who down in Whoville, the tall and the small, will stand close together. With Christmas bells ringing, they'll stand hand in hand, and those Who's will start singing. Do, re, domus, do, re, gromus, welcome Christmas, bring your light. Do, re, domus, do, re, gromus, welcome in the cold dark night. Welcome, welcome, now Who promise, welcome, welcome, now Who promise. Christmas Day is in our grasp, so long as we have hands to clasp. And they'll sing, and they'll sing, and they'll sing, sing, sing. And the more the Grinch thought of this Who Christmas thing, the more the Grinch thought, I must stop this whole thing. Why, for 53 years I put up with it now. I must stop Christmas from coming. And how? Then the Grinch got an idea. An awful idea. The Grinch got a wonderful, awful idea. I know just what to do. The Grinch laughed in his throat. I'll make a quick Santa Claus hat in the coat. He chuckled and clucked. What a great Grinchy trick. With this coat and this hat, I look just like Saint Nick. You're a mean one, Mr. Grinch. You really are an eel. You're as cuddly as a cactus, you're as charming as an eel, Mr. Grinch. You're a bad banana with a greasy black heel. Now I need is a reindeer. The Grinch looked around, but since reindeer are scarce, there was none to be found. Did that stop the Grinch? Ha! The Grinch simply said, if I can't find a reindeer, I'll make one instead. So he took his dog backs, and he took some black bread, and he tied a big cord on the top of his head. Then he loaded some bags and some old-looking sacks on a ramshackle sleigh, and he hitched up old Max. Then the Grinch said, "Get on!" And the sleigh started down toward the homes where the Who's lay a snooze in their town. All their windows were dark. No one knew he was there. All the Who's were all dreaming sweet dreams without care. When he came to the first little house on the square, "This is stop number one," the old Grinchy Claus hissed, as he climbed to the roof, empty bags in his fist. Then he slunk down the chimney, a rather tight pitch, that if Santa could do it, and so could the Grinch. He got stuck only once, for a minute or two. Then he stuck his head out of the fireplace flue, where the little Who's stockings hung all in a row. "These stockings," grinned the Grinch, "are the first things to go." Then he slithered and slunk with a small most unpleasant around the whole room, and he took every present. He stuffed them in bags. Then the Grinch very nimbly stuffed all the bags one by one up the chimney. Then he slunk to the icebox. He took the Who's feast. He took the Who pudding. He took the roast beef. He cleaned out the icebox as quick as a flash, while that Grinch even took the last can of Who hash. Then he stuffed all the food up the chimney with glee. "Now," grinned the Grinch, "I'll stuff up the tree." As he took the tree, as he started to shove, he heard the small sound like the coo of a dove. He turned around fast, and he saw a small Who, little Cindy Lou Who, was no more than two. She stared at the Grinch and said, "Santa Claus, why are you taking our Christmas tree? Why?" But you know that old Grinch was so smart and so slick, he thought up a lie, and he thought it up quick. "Why, my sweet little tot," the fake Santa Claus lied, "there's a light on this tree that won't light on one side. So I'm taking it home to my workshop, my dear. I'll fix it up there, then I'll bring it back here." And his fifth full the charge. Then he patted her head and he got her a drink and he sent her to bed. And when Cindy Lou Who was in bed with her cup, he crept to the chimney and stopped the tree up. Then he went up the chimney himself, the old liar, and the last thing he took was the log for their fire. On their walls he left nothing but books and some wire. And the one speck of food that he left in the house was a crumb that was even too small for a mouse. Then the Grinch did the same thing to the other Who's houses, leaving crumbs much too small for the other Who's mouses. "You're a Robert, Mr. Grinch. You're the king of sinful thoughts. Your heart's a dead tomato blotched with moldy purple spots, Mr. Grinch. You're a three-decker sauerkraut and coleslaw sandwich with arsenic sauce." It was dawn. All the Who's still abed, all the Who's still a-snooze, when he packed up his sled. 10,000 feet up the side of Mount Crumpet, he rode with his load to the tip-top to dump it. Ho-ho to the Who's, he was graciously humming. They're finding out now that no Christmas is coming. They're just waking up. I know just what they'll do. Their mouths will hang open a minute or two. Then the Who's down in Whoville will all cry. Boo-hoo. That's a noise for the Grinch that I simply must hear. So the Grinch paused, and he put a hand to his ear. And he did hear a sound rising over the stove. It It started in low, then it started to grow. Do, re, domus, do, re, romus, welcome Christmas, bring your light. Do, re, domus, do, re, romus, welcome in the cold dark time. Welcome, welcome, Damu Gabus, welcome, welcome, Damu Ramus. Christmas Day is in our grasp, so long as we have hands to clasp. But this sound wasn't sad. Why, this sound sounded glad. He hadn't stopped Christmas from coming, it came. Somehow or other, it came just the same. And the Grinch, with his Grinch-feet eyes cold in the stove, stood puzzling and puzzling. How could it be so? It came without ribbons. It came without tags. It came without packages, boxes, or bags. And he puzzled and fussed till his puzzler was sore. Then the Grinch thought of something he hadn't before. Maybe Christmas, he thought, doesn't come from a store. Maybe Christmas, perhaps, means a little bit more. What happened then? Well, in Whoville they say that the Grinch's small heart grew 3 sizes that day. And then the true meaning of Christmas came through, and the Grinch found the strength of 10 Grinches plus 2. And then when his heart didn't feel quite so tight, he whizzed with his load through the bright morning light. He brought everything back, all the food for the feast, and he himself, the Grinch, carved the roast feast. Thank y'all so much for letting me say that. Y'all like that? Thank you guys. You got an awesome Christmas.
That was awesome, right? You guys say thank you. That was amazing. Great job. All right. We're going to go ahead and dismiss to our areas now, okay? So let me get verse 7.